Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about why Rey Mysterio versus Andrade El Idolo needs to happen at WrestleMania 41 next year in Las Vegas. So, Andrade El Idolo came back to the WWE about 4 months ago at the Royal Rumble, and he showed that he still has what it takes to put on an incredible performance, and he's always been a great competitor since he's wrestled in WWE back then, even in NXT, and he went on to win the United States Championship at one point. But ever since coming back, Andrade, he hasn't been placed in a full-fledged feud with anybody. We've seen him wrestle on Raw. We've seen him wrestle against the likes of Apollo Crews, and I think he probably had one match against Santos Escobar at some point, but he hasn't really been placed in a proper feud with anyone at all since he came back, and he's just been kind of lingering around the roster for now. We've seen him come to the rescue of Rey Mysterio on several occasions, and yeah, I mean, Andrade is a great wrestler, and we all know what Rey Mysterio is capable of doing, the high-flying things he can do, the master of the 619, and probably the greatest luchador ever in the history of luchador wrestling, Rey Mysterio. So these two, they had a couple of matches back then on TV back in 2019. I remember they had two matches on SmackDown. It was the early part of 2019. I remember this one match they had. It was just really good, and it got great reviews. I remember hearing about it, getting great reviews. And then also, you fast forward to the end of that year in 2019, Madison Square Garden at a live event, the day after Christmas event that they have every year. I was actually in attendance for that one, so I remember seeing that matchup that they had in the Garden where Andrade defeated Rey to win the United States Championship. And that Garden crowd just popped. They popped very loud after Andrade won, because they knew that Andrade was a great wrestler and he was deserving of winning that championship and getting that honor of defeating Rey Mysterio. So one more match they did have, like right before the pandemic hit, I remember, was in early 2020 when they fought in a ladder match for the United States Championship. This match was on Raw. Unfortunately, I can't remember the outcome of that match. I'm so sorry. But I do remember they were using the ladder in a lot of very unique ways, and the matchup itself was really good. Yeah, it was just a classic. You know, you put Rey Mysterio and a ladder and any opponent. It kind of reminded me of the Eddie Guerrero ladder match that they had at SummerSlam 2005 for the custody of Dominic. So Rey and Andrade, they delivered another classic there, but they never got the chance to step onto a grand stage like a major pay-per-view and go at it with one another. So I think if given the opportunity, this can possibly be the greatest luchador match of all time possible. I remember Andrade really caught my attention back in, I think it was 2017, when he had a match against Johnny Gargano at one of the NXT TakeOver shows. And that match, oh my goodness, that match had me on the edge of my seat. These guys were hitting every single wrestling move known to man, and they were just going at it, false finish after false finish after false finish, and they had you guessing that the other one was gonna win, and they kept you on the edge of your seat for that entire match. They did get a great amount of time. I think they wrestled in excess of 30 minutes, more than 30 minutes if I remember correctly. But what a match it was. Oh my gosh, one of the most incredible, probably the best match in the history of NXT. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go Google that match and try to pull it up on the network. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. Pull it up on Peacock, that is. Okay, so what they can do is You pair up Rey Mysterio and Andrade one more time, right? Like they did this past year at WrestleMania. And that's somewhere along the way you have them win the tag team championship, right? So they win the tag team championship. They have a nice little run. Not too long. Someone else obviously gonna get the belt so they can get over in a bigger way by those two outstanding performers. And then you have it where Rey and Andrade, they keep losing. They keep losing, and then Andrade, he had and has enough of it, and he finally snaps and he attacks Rey Mysterio. And you can do a storyline similar to the time when Eddie Guerrero turned on Rey Mysterio. Remember when he came to the ring and went to his rescue, and then he clotheslined him, kicked him, and then brought him outside the ring, picked him up like this, and gave him that brainbuster suplex onto the steel stairs on the outside. I think that would be a great way to generate some heat for Andrade and make him a heel once again. And let's be honest, Andrade's better work came as a heel wrestler when he was a heel. So I think him being a heel would be a much, much better way to approach this potential match against Rey Mysterio. But like I said, WrestleMania 41, Las Vegas next year, Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. I hope to see it happen, and if it does happen, and hopefully it happens, it is going to be one hell of a classic encounter, because we need that match where they're given a grand pay-per-view stage, not a TV television stage, but a pay-per-view, a major pay-per-view stage where they can show the world that they're capable of bringing out the very best in one another. And trust me when I tell you, this will be an all-time classic.